Okay, my 33-minute video was interrupted saying that the size allotment for any video was automatically stopped and your video was saved, and then it automatically started another video. That's why the video after that is has me saying lovely artwork. So I was talking about the video when my camera did all this shenanigans and gave me that file has reached its size limit, and uh, a new video is starting, and so on. So I am gonna load them up. You'll, if you care to watch, you'll have me 33 minutes talking to you. I finished that 33 minutes with at least a minute or two or three talking about this shirt. This is a shirt. This shirt is as old as at least 1992. We've taken good care of it. In fact, the shirt used to be bright red. This shirt used to be uh, um red maroon, like this lightweight maroon fleece sleeping bag of mine, or the liner that I sleep to. Uh, when my favorite auntie comes over, then we uh, 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 um, anyway, so upon or in I mean, whenever I have to massage one of my relatives. Anyway, scorpions, VAQ 132. Uh, Vixen attack Quebec. Vixen attack, or and the Q, I forget what the Q stands for, but in certain military slogans or jargon or mill speak, at the time, uh, in the early 80s and 90s, at the time frame that I was in the service, you have Navy aircraft being launched off of the naval aircraft carriers. Uh, a certain number of groups, like one or two squadrons, would be on each. Um, of course, for mill speak tactical purposes, I have no idea how many squadrons per fleet arm or fleet wing will go into battle or on a 6 month cruise at anywhere, at any point in time, and any place on the world, as they are still doing today. I have no idea how many squadrons were on the two aircraft carriers that I was sent to. I forget the name of one of the other aircraft squadrons I was assigned to as a parachute rigger, and I don't know any of my lieutenants or the flight commanders. Fuck you, Lieutenant Let, and I don't know any other esteemed officers. Fuck you, EXO, the one with the small red Porsche. You fat ass. But anyway, I don't know. Oh, the name of that first squadron that I got sent to as a parachute rigger. Hi, Petty Officer Alicia. Hey, which was a running joke because everyone would mispronounce his name like he was a girl, and he'd run home to his wife and tell her, and everybody would laugh, including the man's wife. Hey, I'm just kidding. Uh, you're a good man, Alicia, and uh, uh, um, Petty Officer Ashcraft, or Ash Bolt or Ashlyn or whatever. Anyway, PR1, I still remember you. In fact, you said hi on Facebook once, and I respect you. And Ramos, my Facebook buddy from VAQ 132. You fucking man, you're still on my face. Still, I should say. And Abita, or however the fuck you say your name. You too, buddy. Shout out to you. Although we were boot camp buddies, and finally that other skinny little dude who's now a stroke recovery, and he's a DJ, and he's also on my Facebook page. And god damn it, I can't remember his name, but he's Hispanic, as well as Abita, and as well as Alicia, one of my parachute rigger buddies at the time. So, but anyway, hey, shout out to all those other, to those fine parachute riggers that I used to serve with. There's about 4 more, and I fucking forget their names, but I liked every one of them. And like I said, I gave a special shout out to a couple of real, um, truly shit, Blue Falcon, buddy fucker, officers. But anyway, Scorpion VAQ 132. So VAQ 132 was one of the was the squadron name. Our logo, of course, or our little totem animal, or whatever the hell it was that we decided to call ourselves, a decade or two prior, in the 1960s or 70s, or whenever the squadron was initially commissioned. They called themselves Scorpions. And so all of their subsequent artwork throughout the ages was some type of scorpion with a lightning bolt through it. And this wonderful artist that I'm going to show you, and have shown you his picture already, he did this artwork. And then the squadron commissioned some local company at one of our base units to screen. Hey, you can tell the shirt is also old too, because screen print. And at the time, Best was one of the companies on the on the civilian community. I forgot that print shop name, but they always used the Best Fruit of the Loom or Best brand logos for all of their other T-shirts, because I saw a few other squadrons also selling different colored T-shirts with their logos and various artworks on. And Best was at the time industry-wide and nationwide, just like you would see Adidas or Puma or New Balance shoes today. If you got good eyes, because my camera's trying to focus and not the stitching is starting to give just a bit. The hemming and the what you call elasticity, kind of somewhat giving. But like I said, this red used to be fucking dark red, as red as as red as the as red as the rash on Cousins, but inner. Oh wait, so um and because our aircraft at the time, VAQ 132 electronic warfare craft, each of the two wings of the aircrafts of the 4 or 6 or 8,000 aircraft that was in our specific tactical electronic air warfare aviation warfare unit craft. They had their respective cockpit seated, sometimes 2, sometimes 4 officers. And just like you drive a car today, the flight officer that was front and to the left was the pilot, and the other two were the tactical electronic officers. All the other three passengers basically operated any of those huge cylindrical missile shaped uh, uh, 100 those 100-gallon or 300-gallon propane tank looking thingies in anybody's backyard today that was stationed underneath the wings. And like I said, I don't know specific stations or specific things that were stored or carried or used or whatnot underneath the wing, because I really don't know. The squadron that I was in, some of those people I didn't want to hang around because they were the avionics people. Some of them were the engine type of mechanics people. Some of them were specifically an avionic crew that worked on something that would be in, like, I don't know, we'll say one little fin of one of the rearward wings. Or you had somebody that in one of the other machine shops of the squadron itself, they worked on the industry standard, industry secret, actually proprietary, the tail hook that would partition it and fall out and enable this fucking big, beautiful aircraft to land on the aircraft carrier. So, or maybe there was the other crew that worked with the fuels and the lubricants and stuff for the engines. They were the ones that worked on that big, huge spout pitot type thing that stuck up out of the way, and that's where that was the gas nozzle in flight. So, and my job was for the 4 air crew or 6 air crew or 1,000 air crew inside whatever gear they wore, and if they had to eject out of the aircraft, that's when my job as a parachute rigger began. So, but so this artist, and his name was his last name was Stoke. His first initial or something was J. Stoke, or 1994, I think is. Oh yeah, 93, 94. I bought these last minute for something and kind of almost missed out on buying one, but I bought it before I left, or before I moved on elsewhere. I don't know if the guy's name is Revel Stoke or Stokes or Mass Stokes or um, Just Stokes or Wheel Spokes or something. I have no fucking clue. But he always signed his artwork J. Stokes. Maybe once in a while, I would also, like I did over here, and I did this from a photograph of looking at it, and then I did light pencil work, and then I did a final fill in after I was happy. And I forget the model's name, but she is on the internet somewhere in the year 2000s. There's the rest of her torso and her body. She's peeking back at you, the viewer. The original artwork is somewhere. But now and then I would do for myself some little artwork, not necessarily skimpy stuff like this, but the same size on paper. And it would be military type. I did one of those art pieces when I first went to, when we first did one of my first cruises to the Western Pacific, and when we went to Australia. And on one of a sheet of paper, like what I just showed to you as an example, I did a scene of the boat and proper perspective. The end of the aircraft carrier is kind of here, but as the aircraft carrier moves to the right. You're looking at the right front view of it, and it just gets fucking bigger. And then you have the top point of it as if you're looking straight at the aircraft carrier or the box shape, boat shape that it was from the front right hand side. I drew that with a pencil and then a pen. And it was a ship, and everything was proportioned. You could tell it was a fucking aircraft carrier. And then maybe a quarter-inch high were people. And very patiently with pencil and then a pen, I lined sailors standing up, saluting, sailors in perspective getting smaller, and then a couple of sailors were diving off into the water. Because right in the front, just like those people in Australia did for us when the aircraft carrier pulled into Sydney, pulled into Perth Harbour, and then pulled into another harbour, but we didn't stop there to get off. And then we pulled into Sydney Harbour. We were all welcomed by various boats of civilian and military from the Australian population, and half of those boats were young ladies from all the bars and strip clubs around, and they were just wearing bikini bottoms and waving at us with the tops in their hands. So I literally drew a picture like that of the front right quarter of the aircraft carrier, and a couple of smaller boats in proportion to how it would look in real life, and then 6 ladies in one boat topless, and they're looking at the aircraft carrier. You could see them from the back. I mean, their backs and arms and ample booties and stuff. I drew that first with pencil and then pen, and a couple more boats way in the back, birds and clouds, skyline behind the aircraft. I mean, city skyline, scape line behind the aircraft carrier, so on. That was just one example of maybe 2 or 3 artwork pieces that I drew, and then I took it directly to the wardrooms or the staterooms or the main office where the officers were, and respectfully handed over to one of my lieutenants, and ha ha ha, hey, Flying Horse, that's good. And so they tacked it to the wall for a few days, and then after that, that specific drawing disappeared. I didn't take a picture of it back then. I didn't have a camera. So anyway, but this young man, Stoke, not to steal his thunder though, he was a wonderful artist. He would draw similar stuff like what I did with one of those Australian boat visits from my own perspective. He also drew similar artwork of his own kind like this. And his artwork, he animated the actual aircraft. So I guess perhaps the military aircraft that we worked on at the time probably had 2 wings. I don't know. Probably had 2 movable, smaller wings at the back. Probably had the big football portion in the back that held one of the super secret, top secret, sensitive electronics aviations or radar jamming or electronics destroying capabilities 100 miles up or 103 miles up. Whatever capabilities those various components in these aircraft had at the time. That's one of the aircraft thingies that I was a parachute rigger too. Like I said, I kind of still remember the various offices and the other sailors around me with their specific jobs regarding the aircraft that we, and I just dealt with what was inside the fucking aircraft, and I was the parachute rigger to the men. So, man, Mr. Stoke, I guess when we went to the East Coast, and then we went on the Med cruise, Welcome to the Adriatic Sea, lovingly known as Groundhog Station. And that was no fucking joke because for 6 months, for the first 3 months of that cruise, I was a little lowly PR recruit. I did mess deck duties, so I lived with a lot of black folk, and I lived with a lot of Mexicans, and a lot of other low-income people of color that just happened to be a fleet and a ship personnel. They got stuck somehow, ship duty, and they looked at the rest of us aviation air wing people like we were man on the moon or Martian step onto Earth soil. Anyway, so Mr. Stokes, he says, "Welcome to the Adriatics," and it was the Adriatic Sea, lovingly known as Groundhog Station. And then his craft at the time, and Mr. Stokes would also name his aircraft and number the aircraft, as you can tell. Those markings and stuff, I cannot interpret them. I will not interpret them. Like I said, I don't fucking know. Because aviation, electronic warfare, and submarine electronic warfare, and surface ship electronic warfare, and satellites, and everything else is still a hot ticket item. And I don't know any specifics of any. I could have sworn when we left they said this was a med cruise. So Mr. Stokes, he made his airplane speak in the little speech bubble, and hey, welcome to Adriatic Sea, lovingly known as the Groundhog Station. And the aircraft says, I could have sworn when we left they said that this was a Mediterranean cruise. And just like typical sailor fashion, he would continue his bitching with what the fuck. But anyway, like I said, this shirt is well over. It's okay. We'll say that this shirt is 94, 2004, 2014, and 2024. So this shirt is 30 years old 2 years from now, and we are not 2024. So take away 32 from 30, and we have 28. This fucking shirt is 28 years old. Mom always had it in her possession, and like I said, it's just a shirt. Hey, I know nothing about the what the hell am I talking about? I know nothing. I don't want to be scooped up by some hit squad somewhere, and because they need to know some tiny facet of military secrets or something. So I have no fucking clue. Hey, look at the red shirt that I just found in my closet. I think I'll wear that next. So, and I have no fucking clue what these artworks is. I don't know.